Women are now admitting that red pill is the way to go. All right, let's check it out.
I just saw a woman on here say her toxic trait is thinking that she could go toe to toe with a man if she's angry enough. And I just want to share how that kind of thinking was slapped out of me at the age of 14. In the area that I grew up in, the school that I grew up in, it was very normal for boys to hit girls. Anyone could get it, basically. So one of the most important traits that I looked for in a female friend was that if I'm fighting, we're all fighting, right? You literally had to be ride or die. Everyone was fighting. Because if a boy stepped to you, all the girls would come and then nothing would take place because he knew he was outnumbered, because numbers mattered. However, I felt like I had enough rage in me sometimes when there was disrespect involved. And I would like to think it's maybe my Irish blood. I just have a lot of internalized rage. So this particular boy was just a little piece of shit. Okay, he was fucking annoying. I still remember his name. If I saw him today, I would still remember him. I can literally just picture him, and I can imagine he still probably looks the same. He was just a little shit. I think he was always trying to prove himself to his friends. He was an interesting individual. And I was at a park with my friend after school one day, and he was with his friends, and he started throwing stones at us from a distance, and they were hitting us, and they were hitting us pretty hard. And it was really frustrating because they were a decent distance away. If I started to run and try and catch him, like, I'm not catching him. He's gonna run. He's probably gonna throw more rocks at my face, and it's gonna look bad for me. So I had to just kind of firm it, walk away, and plot. So I thought to myself, I probably weigh like twice the weight of this guy. I wasn't a small girl. I'm still not a small girl, but I was quite a big girl in school. And he was, again, like I said, skinny. He wasn't even tall. He was probably similar height to me. And I thought, oh, no, I'm going to catch him lacking. I'm going to get him. Okay. So after school one day, oh dear, everyone would hang out around the side roads around school. And I saw him standing there, and I thought, yeah, this is my fucking opportunity. I'm going to knock him out. So I went up to him and I said, absolutely, like, not. What the fuck did you think you were doing the other day? I was getting in his face. I was initiating either an apology, or I was going to knock him out, right? I was angry enough. I was bigger than him. And yeah, I was angry enough. I had enough rage to be able to take this fight and win it. Before I knew it, this guy just grips me, picked me off the floor, and swung me around a couple times and threw me on top of a car and said, don't fucking touch me. And he walked away. Did I try and chase him? No. Did I learn that day that biology matters? Okay, yeah. Biology matters. I was crazy, definitely the weaker sex physically in that moment. Yeah.
No matter what. I was thinking to myself, how skinny you might be, bro.
Sarah,
that's wild.
Pick your battles very wisely. And this is so why, funny. If you know me, if you're a lady and we're friends, when you're from London, sometimes it's the culture. Yeah, you do have this inflated sense of like, I'd be able to take anyone if I'm angry enough. And
that's real though.
If you're my friend and you have said to me before, yeah, I'll just knock him out,
thinking that, like,
you know that I would just look at you like you're an idiot, because it's just not the case. I'm so sorry. I really wish it was. I wish we were able to. We could train, we could start training and trying, but it's still, I think we'll at least need two of us. Okay. 2 of us versus 1 might give us a chance.
So this video is from Trigonometry. It's called The Problem with Feminizing Society. And this is Helen Andrews giving us a pretty interesting perspective on what feminism has done in society.
Employees at many institutions is one of the reasons that society has gone the way it has. Is that fair?
I think that's fair to say. Some people have reacted to the piece by, acting as if I'm saying women cause all the problems in the world. I'm definitely not saying that, but I am saying that feminization has caused one specific particular problem, and that is wokeness. Like a lot of people, I was baffled by the woke phenomenon. Why did everyone seemingly go crazy all at once in the summer of 2020? It was inexplicable. It seemed to be mass hysteria, genuinely. And the more I thought about what caused it, which is a very important question, because if we know what causes it, we know how to prevent it from happening in the future. I read an article that someone else wrote that put forward a really simple, elegant thesis, which is that wokeness is simply feminine patterns of behavior applied to institutions where women had not been very well represented until recently. Women tend to be more consensus-focused, consensus-oriented. Men, when they're approaching a moral question, will ask, what are the facts? What are the rules? Whereas women will say, what are the relationships at play here? How can we make everybody happy? How can we reach an outcome that will satisfy all the parties? As opposed to the male perspective of how do we reach an outcome that is just and according to the rules. That sounded a lot like wokeness to me. And the sort of piece that made it all click into place for me was the coincidence of timing. It is the case, just we can all agree as a matter of fact, that a lot of institutions that went woke or were affected by wokeness became demographically female in the last 5 years. Law schools in America turned majority female in 2016, and they've gotten a little bit more female every year since then. I think now it's
which is fine. You're doing your thing, but it's one thing to bring ideologies that help the team grow. Like say, for instance, if you add a woman to your team, honestly and truly, it really doesn't matter who you add to your team. If they're bringing a good, new, fresh perspective on things that's helping your company grow, then that's fantastic. But with wokeness and a lot of this foolishness, that's exactly what it's brought. It's brought a lot of foolishness into.
God bless this man, for real though. He's so sweet, for real. I think that's amazing. And majority of y'all that do think that way, that are like, well, it's fine. Like, you know, it's nice to have a different perspective and to understand that, yes. But do that with your wife at home. Let her have, when you go home and you talk about work to her and things like that, get the perspective at home. Because in reality, when it comes to everyday situations, we are not equipped for it. Because if one day we come in there and we're not feeling like it, or we're pissed off at somebody in there, that is going to affect how we run it, how we apply ideas. Like, it's just how we are made, you know? And I don't think that it's wise to do that. But yeah, I think that the intention of what he's saying is great. And I think that applies when it's at home in a marriage, where you're discussing your day and your work there. Then, oh, wow, babe, that's a great idea. I'll bring that into work, that kind of thing. Rather than actually have her there working, because we are so sporadic. Like, we don't even want to be there. That's the truth, is we really don't want to be there. The ones that do, like this lady here, she actually seems like this is really something that she has pursued in her life and enjoys and likes and went to school for, and then that's really what she does. Like, that is understandable. Yes, doctors, things like that, okay, I could see that. But even then, men are more of the one that should be in charge of those things, you know? Like, we're just not emotionally stable. And especially if this is possible within a year to become that woke, or excuse me, over 5 years or so of hiring women, that is very out there of letting us know that maybe we shouldn't be letting these ladies be here or be a part of this. And I also was in the workforce before, where the entire time as ladies, we're complaining. We don't want to be there. We're sporadic. I'll go off on your boss randomly, but then you're like, wait, no, I want my job. I'm sorry. And apologize. And then you work properly like a workhorse. But that's what they want. You know, we're worker bees. But man, like, I just don't think we're stable. I really don't think we're stable enough. But we have good ideas. But tell your ideas to your husband at home, you know?
These companies and a lot more red tape. Now, we're not talking about, well, anyway, let's go ahead.
Stands at 55, 56%. The New York Times became majority female in its workforce in 2018, which is maybe why it was so susceptible to the fads of wokeness and the internal policing and the Slack revolts that took place internally over there. Medical schools are now majority female. The white-collar workforce overall, employees in the United States with college degrees, a majority of them are women. And management positions in the U.S. workforce, 46% female, so almost majority female. So the fact that all of these institutions tipped over to being majority female around the same time that wokeness emerged seemed to me that couldn't possibly be a coincidence.
And there's so many questions within that. I guess the first stress test of this argument would be, well, they were also very close to being majority female 10 years prior to that, right? So does going from 48 to 52%, is that really such a major shift that it would cause something as dramatic as that?
Well, you'd be surprised. I thought that the higher education workforce, professors in the United States, would have gone female ages and ages ago, but it actually only took female in 2023. So we think of feminization as something that happened a long time ago, but it really does take a certain amount of time for time to pass and older generations to retire. But I think the reason why attaining a critical mass of women has such a dramatic effect is that we're not talking about individual differences between individual men and individual women, but differences in group dynamics. For example, you might be able to say from the perspective of psychology as a discipline that women tend to be more emotional than men and men tend to be more rational, or any kind of generalization about men and women might have a certain amount of empirical support based on surveys. But at the end of the day, those differences are not massive, right? Like female support for free speech is greater or is less than male by double digits, but not, it's not like night and day.
Right.
But when it comes to group dynamics, how does an organization function? How does an institution deal with conflict? When you're talking about those kinds of things, those tend to be more binary. Like either you solve your conflicts within an organization in a masculine way or in a feminine way. Either open conflict is something that your institution will tolerate or it's not. So that's the kind of thing where once you get a critical mass, you really kind of have to pick which one you're going to do.
Well, you mentioned consensus, and
that's a really good point. That's a really good point. Because a lot of times it used to be the case for relationships, and talking about good relationships, healthy relationships, that there was one leader. There was one, at the end of the day, one representative that could say, okay, I've talked to my family, me and my wife, and if you had kids that were of age, we talked about it, and this is the consensus that we've come to. But now in today's age, we talk about with companies, then you have the wokeness that has spread. Everybody's got to have a say on down to like the people who might not know the full picture of what's going on. And so it slows things down and it backs things up because everybody, we have to get all of the surveys in and we have to get everything tallied. And it'd be one thing if it was like, okay, maybe once or twice a year, we got a survey run in and we want to see the results, and we've brought in consultants to help out with X, Y, and Z and to put together the numbers to see what's going on. And then we make a decision on whatever and whatnot. That's you getting boots on the ground to see the state of your company, right? You as CEO can't see everything, right? So you send somebody out there to do it. Today, what's happening is you have modern women that are literally stopping progress. And they're saying everybody has to have a vote. Until we have a vote, we're not moving. And other companies, just by virtue of making a decision and moving on, are more successful. And then you have modern women that talk about, oh, well, it's inequality. We're always getting left behind and treated. And I'm not lying to you. You have articles. I can pull up one right now. I think The Independent wrote one, but essentially it was about Sheryl Sandberg. I think she was former, can't remember, CFO or CTO or something like that of Meta, right? And she left to start Lean In. And basically when they did their research in 2025, which just passed, they found that women felt they were being left behind. They were being left behind. Well, it's not working as we expected to do, yada, yada. After saying all of that stuff, it's not working. I wonder why. I wonder why it's not working. Because men make a decision, whether right or wrong, and they move on. They learn from their mistakes. And the ones that don't get moved to the side, shamed, roasted, while the other people pick up the characteristics of success and the lessons learned and continue moving. If everybody has to have a vote, and it takes you umpteen years to have that vote and get that vote all tallied and put in, you haven't moved yet. That's the problem with honestly and truly wokeness and some of these DEI hires. I hate to say it like that, but some of these DEI hires.
Sort of empathy and including all perspectives. That really isn't what happened with wokeness, though, is it? Because it was more like, we've come to a new consensus and anyone who doesn't agree is going to get killed, basically. Is that really, I mean, that might be the way women deal with this on a group basis. I don't know. You tell me.
No, it's hard to verbalize some of these differences because it might be a convenient shorthand to say men are more comfortable with conflict than women. I think that makes a lot of sense, right? But a famous psychology study, very often if you're studying gender differences, and you're a psychologist, the way you'll do your study is you'll just go to a playground and watch the kids playing and observe and count up how many times somebody hits somebody else or something like that. And there was an experiment of that type done, I believe, in Scandinavia, and it had a really funny outcome. The psychologists observed the kids playing and counted up how many fights they had. And they said, okay, we observed that the men fight a lot more than the girls. But then as a supplement, they decided to confirm their observations by talking to the kids and saying, how many fights did you have today, Billy? Or how many fights did you have today, Sally? And their discrepancy was huge. They found that the girls reported having just as many fights as the men. The level of conflict, male and female, on that schoolyard was exactly the same.
Makes sense. Once you think about it, men might have conflict in.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But that.
Yeah. And because we're fighting in a different way. We're fighting over, well, that's my guy that I like. Well, that's my guy that well, I don't like you anymore. Well, you're not my friend. But and that's the things that we're fighting over because of a relationship.
But we bring it to hands and then
you're like, all right, we cool.
Right, because we know that there's a return after we throw hands. But y'all think there's no point of return after y'all throw hands.
Yeah.
Like after y'all throw hands, you hate her forever.
Yeah.
Because even though I won, I feel like I lost kind of because of that one part I remember where I didn't get the best of her. She got the best of me.
Yeah.
So and y'all just hate each other forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
100%.
Yeah.
That's wild. We're just built different, man.
Front.
It's okay. It's okay. We're built different. And God designed us that way for a reason so that the functionality moves smoother and more appropriately. And that's just what it is, you know. I think that the quicker that us ladies recognize those differences in ontology and appreciate that, the more joy that you're going to have and peace within yourself. Because I too was in the world and not understanding that being a woman and all that encompasses is okay. That's what God made me. Now, the more that I leaned into that and understood of the purpose of that, the more that I found myself being joyful, being appreciative of what I did and what I am. But that's what we're all trying to get to in the first place, because the entire time that I was in the world and in the workplace, we're like, I want to be home with my kids. I don't want to be doing this. Like, it's okay though. That's fine. But just understand that that's in your nature. That's because you're not built to be doing that. That you're not built to be the one that's in charge of providing everything and doing everything and have the kids and be at home and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's why you do feel that stress and burden and depression and anxiety, because you're moving improperly out of your nature, out of what God designed you for. So if we get back to that and understanding the beauty of, look, this is how I'm made, and that God designed me. He chose me to be a woman for this reason. This is why. And if I move into that purpose and understand that, then the more that you're going to have understanding of yourself and peace, you know?
Of people. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. But women, they're going to hide it. They're going to put up a front. They're going to present well a lot of times, but behind closed doors. To see a woman have a fight, you see a lot of fights on reality TV because the cameras are everywhere. But you got to notice where those fights are, right? They're inside of places. Not a lot of times are they outside, right out in the open. If the camera wasn't in the house, you wouldn't see it, right? If the camera wasn't in the bathroom, you wouldn't see it. So a lot of these places are private places that they're having issues. But then when they get, oh, no, we're fine, it's okay. You won't even know because they'll try to clean themselves up.
But their observations had failed to record any of the female conflicts, because when they asked the girls, oh, you had a fight today, what did that entail? It was things like, Megan said she was going to tell everybody they couldn't be my friend anymore.
Which is where words of violence comes from. Or I imagine you're right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And one of the most consistent psychological differences between men and women is women have a strong impulse of caring. Right, which is exactly, I'm not somebody who looks to evolutionary biology for the solutions to all human phenomena, but this particular one does seem glaringly Darwinian, right? That women see helpless things and they want to take care of them. That is definitely something that Darwin would find a pretty easy explanation for. But that's also something that wokeness can easily weaponize. It means that if you can frame your political issue as a way of caring for some helpless class, then you're golden,
that,
right?
Minorities
that's so real.
That's right. But that is precisely what's going on at a deeper level.
I'm sorry, y'all. I keep talking a bunch on this one. That's a crazy point, is that because I always think about it, because I too fell into it. It's very easy because they're playing on our biology, but we don't even understand that it's our biology to care. So what we do is we think we're doing the right thing by caring and saying, oh, but you can do whatever you want because I care about you and we care. But that isn't what is in all, in total, good for them. And that is where a man steps in, of seeing that and understanding the long-term effects of something, or the outer ring of what that decision creates of that. You know what I mean?
Women are nice, men are kind.
Yeah, 100%.
Men are kind in the fact that if you have something in your teeth, women think that it's mean to tell somebody they have something in their teeth.
Yeah.
Or that they elbows might be a little ashy, or that maybe they when you tell your homeboy, hey man, you might need to get up and get something done. Like, what are you doing here? Not getting this that they think is it's mean to tell their homegirls that, or to say, hey, stop sleeping around with everybody and find you a husband. It just looks really bad on you. They find that mean, but but what it actually is kindness.
Yeah, that's wild.
Let me see. Sure the mic's working. Okay.
Your article, and I encourage everyone to read it, it's fascinating whether you agree or disagree with it, but you cited one particular case, which is the former president of Harvard. So let's talk about that, because you use it as the main example for the thrust of your argument.
That's right. This was back in 2005. So this is before anybody had ever heard of wokeness. Now, I don't know if your listeners in the UK will be familiar with Larry Summers, but he was...
And I really like that she said this is before anybody could have heard of wokeness. Well, it's because, if you study the trend and the pattern, you'll find that. You'll see this type of stuff. Men are not playing around. I can see what's about. This is a man's job. So it's a man's job to see this type of stuff. I'm not saying that women are incapable of doing it, but it's the way a man works. Okay, I've been out here before. If we're hunting, by this time every day, this animal is right here doing this every day. So when they see a woman right here at this time, every day doing it, you can set your watch. I mean, police do the same thing. Detectives do the same thing. Private investigators do the same thing. So it's not rocket science. I'm just observing, like she talked about psychology. I'm just observing what you do, and I'm writing down my observations. And if you continue to do this over a long period of time, I can probably bet that you're going to do it again.
Was at that time probably one of the 10 most powerful people in the country. He was not just the president of Harvard. He had also been in Bill Clinton's cabinet. He had been at the World Bank. He was an academically eminent economist, very well connected in the Democratic Party, just a really powerful guy. He was invited to give a speech at a conference on female underrepresentation in science and math, and he decided to deliver his remarks off the cuff. And to be really, and actually, if you know anything about Larry Summers, he has a reputation for being a really blunt guy. He's somebody who does not suffer fools gladly. So when you're getting the blunt Larry Summers, you're really getting something quite direct. But the talk was supposed to be off the record. And that's important to emphasize, that the women who listened to what he said and took it to a reporter were violating the rules that they had undertaken to follow when they attended. Anyway, he said that...
Which they'll do, and then they'll say, well, it was for the greater good, right? That's why you see a lot of women violating NDAs. I think there was... Tiger Woods might have had one. Oh, well, we're trying to get that nullified, with his girlfriend who was living in his house and tried to sue him and take money from him. And they're not even married. Modern women do that, man.
That female underrepresentation in the hard...
Oh, it's done? Huh? Oh.
We're all going to see it clearly.
I'm never giving a man thirsty energy ever in my entire life.
How about not thirst?
It's not thirst. It is. That's a mental. We're men and women. We're created a way for a certain reason. I'm never chasing a man ever in my entire life. I'm never ever going to be, oh, pick me. I'm going above and beyond.
So
never.
Can I say if we remove chase and we remove earn and we say, I want you to show a level of interest, but I want you to show a level of interest above the people that you think that you're in competition with. So I can tell.
Let's be for real. Like when a man really likes you, he has to show it, or it's going to be missed calls, ghosting. It's going to be, I'm out with my homies or whatever. It's not going to be like.
But do you think you get the missed calls and ghosting because you didn't separate yourself from that bunch? If I'm chasing you and I've shown interest, say we're doing 75% me chase and you're giving me 25% interest, right? And I can recognize that, but I'm not even getting that because you're playing this cat and mouse with like, I'm only going to give him 10%.
No, I don't think it's that. If you are a person that wants me to send you the good morning text or something, and you're like,
yeah, but Jada, so you never send the guy good morning text. You always expect him to do it first.
Say good morning to me.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the thing that men want that too.
But that's, for me,
you just said it's not even a game.
But that is a game.
I'm
for
not
you to sit here and
but you
say
started you started saying it's not a game.
That's a game.
That's not me, but that's what I feel as though men do.
No,
wait,
baby.
you
Guys want that too. Guys want that too.
Part of a game. You said it's not even a game.
I don't think for me.
She's assuming he's playing a game, and she's.
Yeah, but this is due to being out in the world and having bodies beforehand, because what that creates is that trauma, that thing of, oh man, I don't want this to happen again. So you're trying to control it. And rather than just being honest, what do you honestly feel? Okay. What I honestly feel is that I want to play this crazy game because I'm terrified of being hurt, because I actually really like you and I really see how I want to have something with you, but I'm afraid to tell you that because of my past mistakes and things that I've been through. It's pretty simple to just say that. And majority of men are going to be like, wow, I really understand that. Thanks for being so honest about things that you've been through before. So that they know to not treat you that way. So then they know, oh, she's really pursuing a relationship with me. And then you skip the weird part of, is this a relationship or is it a situationship? That's how you skip over that part. And then,
but the fear of rejection.
The fear, I was about to say, or option 2 is that he then realizes that, oh, you want a relationship with him. And he's like, I'm sorry, you're a great gal and all, but I don't really want that from you. And not right now. Like, and that's okay. But we have to accept that, because in the long run, do you want to have the hurt up front, or would you rather have the long hurt of playing this weird games and stuff where that you're playing all that and the whole time you're hurting yourself and you're going to end up hurt anyways? So you might as well just take the initial hurt, take the no from the jump, don't go through all of it. And then you don't have to deal with the long-term pain of it all, because then you start going into the next relationships and behaving like this. And that's going to hurt you even worse, because then now you might ruin it with a really great guy yet again, because you don't want to just be honest and upfront and take the rejection up front. Men are used to this. Men have dealt with this from the dawn of time of being rejected. But we as ladies, we can't stand it. We will avoid it at all costs, and that's where these games come in. Just go ahead and skip all the mess in order for your own trauma, for your betterment of yourself. It's going to save you so much pain, so much hurt that you are causing to yourself. And I know this because I did the exact same thing, where I almost lost my husband by playing these games because I was terrified of being hurt. But as soon as I was open about it and was like, I'm sorry that was playing these games, I just was nervous that I was going to lose you. I really like you. I think you're really great. Bam, now you got the guy. Like, it's really that simple. Men are simple. They just want to know what's really going on and just get straight to the point. And that's how it is with them.
It's not a game. I don't know. It's just that I think that when a guy says,
what if you wake up first? You just let them motherfucker like, oh, she ain't up yet. Like,
okay, so this is the thing. I have sent the good morning text or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, all right, it is equal when that.
Yeah, baby, it has to be equal, because guys will feel some type of way, especially quality men.
I think what she means is a dance, but it doesn't matter what you mean. It goes back to the point of what he was saying. You guys are playing too many games. Men are tired of that. That's why they just walk away. They ghost you, because like he said, they can clock what you're doing. They can see what you're doing. They already been around the way. Most of these guys that you're messing with or you're trying to mess with, they already been around the block a time or two. So they're going to see what you're saying. They're going to see what you're doing, and they're going to just walk away. That's how you get ghosted. Oh, you playing a game. I told you not to play with me. You playing a game? Ghosted. Well, you could at least
Just
know
be
I
straight
can at least
up,
be
be
nothing.
honest.
Stop playing. You know what you're doing out here.
Maybe this is a little bit of a hot take and I wasn't sure if I was going to share this. I think it's important to talk about. I am not interested in being my boyfriend's landlord. I said in that video that my boyfriend is moving in with me. We are not engaged. We are not married. He's moving in with me to my house that I own. I just frankly am not interested in being his landlord. We had that conversation when I kind of prompted him to break his lease because, again, like I said in that video, he was literally never at his apartment. He was here every single night. And I said that to him, like, my mortgage is around $2,600 a month. I don't need your $1,300 a month to split it. I bought this house on my own because I can afford it on my own. I would rather him just take the money that he was spending on his rent and put it in his savings account. At the end of the day, we're moving in together because we want to be together forever. At some point in the near future, this isn't like years away, everything's going to be combined anyway. Whether he puts it in his savings account or Venmos me $1,300 a month, at some point, it's all going to be our household finances.
And what you're seeing is some women who want men to bear all of the cost. And what she's saying is, well, I'll take the risk. You know, it could be that we don't make it the distance. I don't think that's going to happen. It don't look like it's going to happen, but if it does, it does. I want him to put that in savings. That's the same exact way that modern women expect men to think. Well, you know, what's hers is hers. She can spend on whatever she wants, but, you know, whatever I got, I'm going to put into the house. And because, she could leave me at any time, but
guess what? This is the truth that us ladies don't share, is that we're willing to do that for some guy that we think is worth it. We'll pay his bills. We'll take him out. We'll go. We'll do whatever. We don't care, because the long-term investment is that, oh, well, I see a future in you. And that's what I'm hoping for. Now, of course, please don't take advantage of that. But I know now a lot of gentlemen aren't like that. Like, a lot of y'all would be like, oh, wow, she's willing to do that for me. Wow, let me get my stuff together. Let me start doing this properly. And it puts a battery in you guys. Like, so as for the ladies, make sure that you understand that if you're not willing to do that type of stuff for that guy, that ain't the guy that you want. Leave him alone, because you're going to just mess him up. Like, just, if you're not willing to do that for a guy and for that guy, that's not your guy. Like, because that's just the truth. You would do any and everything to have that guy. So that's the one that you need to be with. And gentlemen, you need to be with the lady that would be willing to do that. So I get it with these people that go and do the testing of the date. Like, hey, we're sorry, I don't have my card with me. Where are we going to go? And then the ladies are like, oh, I'm out of here. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, heck no. Bye. That ain't the girl for you, gentlemen, for real. So, but ladies, you know that if the guy's for you because you're willing to do that, that's the truth, and you know it. Like, you'd be willing to pay for anything for that guy.
You know, I love her so much, I don't really care about that. But what she's saying is, well, you know, what a lot of men are saying, well, it's going to be in the family anyway. It's going to be a household income anyway. So go ahead, put that in savings, and we're going to tap on that.
She really seeing a future in you. A
little bit later.
Absolutely.
Want to take a vacation? You want to pay for the kids' schooling? You got a head start, $1,300 a month. Wow. Fantastic.
What do you say to those men? Those men, there are a lot of men who, they're like, I take care of that, and I provide that, and like that is my obligation.
That's called benevolence.
Okay,
that he feels it's his duty because he's been brainwashed, and it's his benevolence, right? He doesn't. He's under no obligation to do any of that. You are the benefactor of his benevolence, right? Now, there's no way that he personally is actually happier day by day splitting his $200,000 when he could be sharing with you with $400,000. And the whole concept about your femininity is just a load of crock, because you're just as feminine when you working as a carpenter as you are when you're baking cookies. Just like I'm just as masculine when I'm working as a carpenter as I am when I'm baking cookies. I don't bake cookies like this, right?
I don't like how men be like,
bro,
I like that you be in the
point.
house. I'm in the house because I have too much self-respect to be in the streets. Not because I'm doing you a favor. The places I go close at 9 p.m. 10.
Yo, You're not gonna believe this shit. That's the fucking point. Bro, I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. Like, that's the fucking...
Well, does height really matter when you guys are dating?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
like for a short, I feel like
when I'm going outside at nighttime and I'm going out and I'm wearing heels, my guy has to be taller than me.
Can I tell you guys something now?
No.
Please do.
They have this level, like men that are not tall. They're extremely masculine and they're very manly and they not
because they lack in height.
It doesn't. Okay, and these big men lack in money. They lack in discipline and intelligence.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. I'm lying. Okay, I lied. I was just joking.
Not all of them.
I didn't say
But let me tell you something. For example, I was on a podcast with a guy.
Trader.
You guys know who I'm talking about. The guy with the braids that he was like, I'm a high value man.
Yes.
Huh? No fugazi. I went to his podcast and then this other lady chewed him up because she's just like, dude, yes, you're tall.
I watch that clip every single time I come across it.
And for some reason, they just always got their shit together. Like, they always, like, they're very...
got something
confident.
to prove.
Very confident, very masculine, very... they just provide, they give you that safe space. And it's just like, yeah, I think
that the tall men probably feel very safe.
Or they feel like they just
knowing that they can get women just because of their height.
And here we are talking about
they
it.
know that they're going to be looked at by women because they're as tall as they are.
I just want to say, guys, don't count out the short men.
Ben announced
I know what clip you're talking about.
I mean, she's not wrong. Like, yeah, definitely don't count out the short guys. Like, I think that what all in all that it is don't get in your head that yo stuff don't stink. That's the whole point, is that when a good guy comes across, see where it goes, see what happens, because you don't have much time. That clock's ticking for everybody. You don't know when you're gonna drop. That's the whole reality of life. And so what we as ladies love to do to each other is be like, girl, you got time. Girl, you can get this type of guy. You can get next thing you know, you're freaking 35 and like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And you're miserable. You're hating that you're home by yourself. I've been there, where you're like 2020 hits and you're like, oh shoot, is the world gonna end? I'm by myself with my dog and my sister living in my house. What am I gonna do? This is real life. This happened to me. And I'm like, I can't believe that I'm 25 and I'm not married. Like, this is horrible. This is not the way I want to live my life. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. And I definitely want kids and I want life. I want a marriage. Like, so it's just so crazy that we will sit here and pass up a good guy that walks by, or that gives us a night and a time of day of that. I'll give you anything, girl. All because we are being told by other ladies, next one, this kind of guy, oh, he's just not quite there. Get away from those friends, bro. Like, get you some married friends if that's what you want. Have people who are already in marriages and ask them how they got into that. That is the best way that you can get an outcome that way. When you're around these girls that are secretly in competition with you, because we all as ladies are, we don't need that. Let's cut that mess out. Like, I don't even want my daughter to have friendships like that with ladies, because we don't mean to, but we are. We're in a competition with. The only ones that seem to really stick around for the long term is the ones that you become friends with as kids. And then as time goes on, you're with each other through thick and thin, you know? But yeah, I think that it's silly to have friends like that. And the girlfriendship and all that crud that was pushed to us that we should have. No, we're dangerous. We're toxic to each other. We don't mean to be. We love each other because we're humans and we are naturally caring. But we unfortunately get into this weird competition underneath the surface of our friendship. And so it's not good for us. We need to go ahead and get into a marriage, have some kids, and then maybe you can actually have a real friendship, you know? But yeah, let's get back into it. Oh, yeah. But yeah, this was great, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.